Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest and exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Motorhead Garage is presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. If you are into Jeeps, then you love being out in the elements, but unfortunately, those elements can be the enemy of your Jeep. And John, you, of course, are a Jeeper, and you are here because nature called. Now, tell me what happened.
Yeah, I was on a weekend trip with my girlfriend, and we got caught in a rainstorm, and literally the Jeep was swamped. And before I knew it, within a week, the stereo and all my electronic four-wheel drive stuff started acting up, just causing all kinds of havoc. So I went down to the store and bought me a shower curtain and literally put suction cups along the top and got one of my friends to help me get some bungees on there and stitch it all together and have it halfway fit the dash, so that way it'd be this small so I could put it underneath the seat so I could have something in case of emergency, because it cost me almost $2,000 for that mishap between the stereo and everything I had to have fixed. So yeah, I was literally with a shower curtain, and I carried it around for about 6 months, and I was like, you know, where can I redevelop it? After I put it on a couple times, realized, okay, I need to fix this, do something a little easier, which then led into dash poncho.
And now it is much harder than a shower curtain. You know, you've obviously improved on that. What's it made of?
It's made of a marine grade canvas. We use heavy duty suction cups that are going to go along the top part of the windshield. It's fitted to drape over the dash, and then with multiple connection points with bungees and hooks, so that way if you have your doors on, have your doors off, there's plenty of connection points, and it's fitted so that way when it does rain, you get caught in the elements, the water just goes straight down to the floorboard. Now these Jeeps are designed with plugs, so that way if you do get filled up with water, you can pull the plugs, but in the end, you pull your dash poncho off and there's no water on there. And you can see by all the electronics on this dash, well, if you trap that water, and yes, some of this stuff is water resistant, but over time, the corrosion will build and the problems will be there.
A lot of folks use their Jeep as a daily driver, and they want to take it out on the trails as well.
Yep.
So you have your iPad and your things on your dash from day to day, and then when you get on the trails, you have your radios and CBs and everything else you want to protect. So at night, you go for the dash poncho. So let's take a look and see how it's installed.
Generally, you're just going to unroll it, be set up in the Jeep, and you'll want to center it off of the mirror.
And you can do this by yourself, but if you have a buddy, it makes it even quicker.
Oh yeah, it makes it nice and easy. So then we'll make sure all the hooks aren't stuck. A lot of hooks.
A lot of options.
A lot of options.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to be centered up on the mirror.
With that center suction cup.
Center suction cup, just start going along.
All right.
And then we've got bungee cords here, so that way you can go around the visor just to make sure you got an extra hold.
Okay. I like it. It's redundant. There's a couple different ways that it holds on, so you don't have to worry about that. And then once I've fastened that on, where's that go?
Then that's going to go down underneath.
Just fasten to itself?
Yeah, fasten it to itself.
Okay.
That way you got it on there. And then when you fold your visor down,
Yep.
that'll go down there.
Okay.
And then bungee cords on the center console.
Oh, just right at the bottom there.
Yeah, right at the bottom.
Cool.
Yep. And this, you'll just make use of whatever you have. Now, in this case, he doesn't have his doors on, so we got a bungee cord that'll go there.
All right.
We've got one towards the end that'll hook onto this hinge.
And every Jeep is different, which is what makes this product really cool.
Yes, I mean, so whether you have your doors on, doors off, if you got half doors, if you've got fog lights to match it on, then all your electronics covered. You want to put your visors down, and so that way the water will just shed down to the floor.
Fantastic. I see the cutout for the steering wheel. Tell me about the shape of that.
Yeah, so the steering wheel cutout is oval, so that way your steering wheel can be up or down. It doesn't have to be in a certain position, so it'll accommodate either position.
I love the way you have different hooks on it, different loops, so it's flexible and it's convenient.
And convenience is where it comes. As Jeep world, size matters. And whether if it's big, because you want to be big for off-road, or you want to be small to make sure you're out of the way. Well, we wanted to go small on this package to make sure it's convenient by being out of the way and somewhere where you can easily get to it when you're by yourself.
and it's flexible because it can go on a number of different Jeep models. You've got one on the JKU over there. What about older Jeeps?
Well, the JK version actually will fit the TJs and YJs. It is kind of a crossbred version to make sure it fits the JK, but the older ones as well.
Cool. Where can we find the Dash Poncho?
DashPoncho.com is going to be your easiest access for that. We're going to have retail there. And also for dealers, we're looking for dealers across the country to put this product out there. We're going to have wholesale prices. We're also going to offer embroidery with your logo, basically branding this for your marketing. Instead of a tire cover that gets tossed, you're going to have the poncho that's going to be a tool that's going to be carried from Jeep to Jeep, because these guys are going to need this. I mean, this is probably the cheapest advertisement and tool, and probably the most important that you'll have in your Jeep.
Well, if you're a Jeep owner, you are going to need a Dash Poncho. If you want to be a dealer, you're really going to want the Dash Poncho in stock. Check them out at dashponcho.com. And if you go to the website, you can enter Motorhead30 as a promo code to get $30 off. Oh, by the way, if you're a Bronco fan, the Bronco Dash Poncho is coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. We will return with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings in just a couple of minutes.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. Custom Splice, recovery gear made for you. Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. And by NH Oil Undercoating, the official oil-based rust prevention system.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now, this is the I wish I'd have thought of that portion of the program, because I'm telling you, this is one of the simplest inventions you've ever seen. It's one of the coolest inventions I've ever seen, and you have the best product name we have ever seen on the show, the Oil Udder. Now, Kevin, tell me what the inspiration was behind this.
We got really frustrated changing our own oil, and the mess didn't have to be that way, so we set out to solve the problem.
120 years of changing oil, and someone has finally made it clean and easy to do.
Yeah, very simple. It has a very tough nitrile rubber, ready for your garage, ready to be beat up. It has a magnetic attachment that'll fit to the bottom of the oil filter, so it holds itself kind of like your third hand, and it directs the oil where you want it and not where you don't.
Well, this is a Dodge Ram pickup truck, notoriously difficult to change the oil and especially hard to do it without a mess, but you can do it.
We can do it.
All right, we'll get to work here. I'm going to check in with our buddy Elliot over here. Elliot, I see you have two different oil udders there, so you got everybody covered, right?
Yeah, Dave, so we have the 3-inch oil udder, and then we have the 4-inch oil udder XL. You're going to want to make sure you take a look at your vehicle's oil filter and look at the outside diameter. These products will work with oil filters that are smaller than that 3 or 4-inch rating. They are flexible, and you can usually find the outer diameter on your parts site.
And then you have a couple accessories you brought with you too. This is, you call it the stand?
We call it the mag stand. So it's a magnetic stand. There's magnets on the back, and there's also a magnetic oil bottle holder below it, so your oil udder can drip into it and not make a mess. This can stick right on your toolbox with a magnet, or there's a nail hole there for it as well.
And that's so cool. That makes it easy to save all the oil and you don't waste any.
Yeah, absolutely. And we find that with this oil that you'd otherwise spill on your car, wipe up with a rag on the ground, you can actually recycle a little more oil. And a lot of our customers that work at dealerships or some customers that work for companies that have fleet vehicles have found that they're able to recycle a lot more oil to be able to better work towards environmental standards and regulations that help them save when it comes tax time.
So business owners, if you want to get your ISO certification, you can either build an entire solar farm or you can get the oil udder and you can check off the same box on your taxes. It's worth the same amount. Now tell me, Elliot, if you've got a filter that's mounted at a strange angle, how does the oil udder deal with that?
So on strange angles, here I have the 3-inch udder. You're going to put it on here and you're going to loosen the filter slowly. And just like if you were to tip a coffee cup slowly, coffee's going to run down the side. It's going to decant down the filter and go right into the oil udder. So just make sure to go slow and you'll catch the flow.
Well, one vehicle that's notoriously tricky, this Dodge Ram pickup truck. Now we're going to step over here and see how Kevin is doing. All right, Kevin, I noticed you went for the oil filter first, and that's kind of opposite of what I've always been taught.
Yeah, and it works really well with the oil udder because the inside is going to get oily. You want it to be tacky and clean to start, and then it helps it take the oil filter off.
Can be a little tricky with this vehicle and some others.
Yes, occasionally the blocks have oil coolers, trucks have oil coolers, other attachments, lines to with the engine, and there can be a column of oil that will drop as soon as that oil filter disconnects, and having the udder position underneath will catch that oil.
So it becomes a funnel there, and everything drains nicely. And it's also a removal tool then when it comes time to take the filter completely off.
Yes, it is. With the stickiness and the tactfulness of the rubber, it'll help you grip it and take it off really easily.
Once it's done draining there, you close the cap. And this is the part I love. You've got a really cool stand for the oil udder.
Because you always feel like you need a third arm doing an oil change, we have it there ready for you. It keeps the drips from getting all in the frame, on your floor, on your garage, and you keep it clean.
Now onto the oil drain plug, which is actually a really easy step here. You loosen it with your wrench, put the oil udder over there, and the last couple turns, and out comes the oil. And it couldn't be easier, couldn't be cleaner.
Absolutely. The plug will drop into the oil udder, be caught by the magnet, and then you can direct the oil where you want it to go so you don't miss your oil pan.
And this is, if you're doing it on the ground, this is where you have your splash pad.
Exactly.
To keep things nice and clean. Well, it's as simple as that. It's so cool. There's no oil on the sway bar, no oil on the frame, and no oil on your hands. It's the oil udder. Makes oil changing really simple and really clean. Check them out at oiludder.com. We will return with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings in just a minute.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
You are cruising along with Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now, there's no greater feeling than when you get your brand new Harley Davidson right off the showroom floor, until you realize you can start to customize it and make it your own. And Lucas, you're with Fuel Moto. What are some of the things folks want to do right away when they get a new bike?
So one of the things that people can do after they've purchased their Harley is buy something like one of our big bore kits. And this isn't always the first step in the modification process. This is something that we offer as kind of an all-in-one deal. So right here you can see our pistons that we have made by CP Carrillo. And then also in our kits we have a wood performance cam is a really common choice of ours for the brand and the grinds that they have. We also offer wood lifters, and we have our own cylinders here, as well as our Fuel Moto adjustable push rods. So this is kind of an all-in-one kit that can make your Harley go from a 70, 80 horsepower machine to up near 130, 140 horsepower bike.
But let's start with the pistons. What makes these special? What makes them unique?
So these are actually custom pistons made by CP Carrillo. We designed all the different specs and domes and compression ratios that we're using for these pistons. You can see here, these are a special dish kind. These are typically utilized for a 10.75 to 1 compression build in an M8 Harley. And then here, moving on to the cam, we have, like I said, a wood performance cam. He has a variety of different grinds that we use, and we actually help him develop. We also use his lifters in a lot of our builds. Here we are moving to the cylinders. They're also locally sourced, made in the USA. Then we have our push rods, which are actually also made in the USA in Wisconsin. We actually utilize a two-piece design with a locking nut on it. So basically, you'll install these just how they are, fully collapsed, and that's kind of what allows you to install them without taking the entire top end apart. You'll extend them out. You can actually just spin the lock nut down. It's simple as that once you have the correct adjustments. So that's what makes it a lot easier for things like cam swaps, and also in big bore kits like getting the correct adjustment depending on what cam you're using and a variety of other factors in the engine.
That leads us to the a la carte items that you have that are going to help us with performance on our bike.
So when you buy a big bore kit like this from us, we support people like over the phones and over emails and all sorts of different ways that will help you get the correct combination for whatever you're looking to do. So in most big bore kits, pretty much all that we sell, with M8s for example, we'll sell you a set of injectors like these. These are also American made that we've locally sourced. What you have sitting there is an 8.1 gram per second injector. We'll typically use something more like a 5.5 gram per second injector with a big bore kit like this. But that's one thing we'd add. Here is a AIM variable pressure clutch. That's basically just a lockup plate that prevents your clutch from slipping once you start pushing double the horsepower in these bikes. And then we also have our dyno jet tuner, which is basically our bread and butter. That's been our mainstay in the Harley industry as far as tuning goes, and we've been really successful working not only with dyno jet but also putting in hundreds, thousands of hours on our dyno, street tuning and remotely tuning all of our customers' bikes to get them the correct mapping and develop all sorts of mapping for a variety of different combinations and setups and motorcycles in general.
Well, let's talk about that. Your R&D that you're doing, you're not just guessing at something. You're not just computer modeling when you're sending me this kit and you're sending me all the parts that I need for my bike. How do you guys test it all and make sure it's what I need for my combination?
We have basically a full R&D facility at our shop in Wisconsin. So we have a full dyno cell that we utilize to basically put all this stuff together. So when we're first coming up with a kit like this, for example, we'll have all the components made, we'll get them in, we'll develop a variety of, for example, different cam grinds, different compression pistons. We'll try different cylinders every now and then and things like that. And we'll put it together in-house on one of our test bikes. We'll get it on the dyno, we'll tune it properly, we'll break it in, we'll see how it reacts, what kind of power it makes. And obviously we'll use that as a baseline, and that's what allows us to branch out and do a variety of different things and tune up thousands of different combinations that aren't necessarily the same from every bike and for every person.
You touched on this. Folks are getting remote tunes from you, so you can tell them what to put on their bike based on the combination they have?
We work extensively with customers on getting them the correct combination, and being in the industry and knowing what we know and working with all the different parts, especially as far as R&D is concerned, we're able to know what components work on what people's bikes to kind of help them accordingly make a combination that's going to work well. So at the end of the day, what we call is kind of our recipes that we use, so to speak, to make sure that people are happy with the outcome and they're making good power and having a bike that performs well and runs well.
How long are you guys doing the R&D on this kind of stuff?
So something like this can take up to a year for us to develop.
Oh my goodness, so you know you're getting the right thing. And oh, by the way, if you don't want to do all this yourself, you can send your bike to these guys or wheel it on into them, and they can actually do the work there at their shop. Now this is getting more in depth when we're talking the big bore kit, but what are some more basic steps that folks might want to take to upgrade their new bike?
Yeah, so a simple first step in buying something like this, like over here, a Milwaukee 8 brand new Harley, is just doing something like this tuner. We also have a full exhaust line that we carry, our Jackpot series, so we build head pipes as well as slip-on mufflers for all sorts of different applications. But for a basic stage 1 application, we'll use our Jackpot systems and also coupled with our tuner to get the correct mapping, and even like one of our air cleaners is a good first step, and you can see good power gains and stuff like that with one of these bikes.
Well, if you've got a bike and you want to make it your own, check them out at fuelmotousa.com. We will return with more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coating, so do not go anywhere.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. Gear America, the last recovery gear you'll ever need. Top Coat, don't just coat it, top coat it. And by Cutting Edge Automotive Solutions, the exclusive importer for SP tools in the United States.
You know, when you're surfing the interwebs, you're being barraged by all kinds of products for your car, and I see Tribotex all the time, Pasha. How do I know it works?
I would say you compare what other people say about us. NASA, National Science Foundation, Air Force, military applications. You can't find any other company that have so much praise from these very credible places. This is all big things. Even getting one of those would make somebody happy through the roof. We got several of them, and we keep growing in this space. For us, car applications, this is labor of love. This is what we love to do every day. But in reality, the most of our revenue comes from defense applications, comes from extending longevity of the ground support equipment, or generators, or tanks in the military, where every single day costs often more than whole car at the consumer market.
So I know if NASA and the military are keen on it, it's going to work for me.
Yes, certainly we simplify it, consumer edition, so it is not just safe, but easy to apply, and you don't have to think much about how it's going to work. You just put it in, wait for 500 miles, and you will see the difference that's going to astonish you.
What are some of the things the military folks say about Tribotex?
We have a bunch of reviews online straight from the military folks, but one of the peculiar things that we heard over and over, that it's such an universal technology that they hadn't seen before.
You know, a lot of people just put like a little quote here or there, but you guys really go all out. You can see the whole report on your website, which I thought was really remarkable.
Yes, some of the reports are still not public, but the ones that we are already published are quite remarkable.
Well, those are some of the most important and the biggest labs in the world, and also another really important one is your users, folks that are using Tribotex saying how good it is, and if you're not satisfied, they will give you your money back. Check them out at tribotex.com and improve your ride.
Time now for the lowdown with Magic Creeper.
You see us here on the show extolling the virtues of the Magic Creeper, and yes, I've told you we do use it here in the studio. I've sent it to a few friends and they love it as well, but do not take our word for it. Yes, we know Magic Creeper is a sponsor of the show, so if you go online to Magic Creeper's website, you find lots of great reviews here. Libby wrote in, she said, "This has been the best purchase ever. My son is using his on his big truck, and my husband says it's invaluable in the auto repair business, so very pleased with this purchase. Folks at home are using it, folks in professional shops are using the Magic Creeper as well." Joyce says her husband's very pleased with the Magic Creeper. She ordered two, one for her son-in-law and one for her husband. The son-in-law is a school bus mechanic and he works out in the field most of the time, so the Magic Creeper is great for that. She says it keeps his clothes from looking like he rolled in the dirt. And her husband's been using a large piece of cardboard like all of us have. When you go to a car show and you're hanging out with your buddies, throw a piece of cardboard under there, that's all you've got. Well, try the Magic Creeper. It's a huge improvement over a piece of cardboard, I guarantee you that. Peter says it is magic. That is correct. He uses it under his classic Chevy truck, and he says he loves it. It works great, easy to move in and out. He's 65 years old, weighs 240. Says that he's broken a couple of creepers that say they're rated at 300 pounds, but the creeper is so much more durable than that. It will not break under any weight, and it'll still move with about 1,000 pounds on it, so you don't need to worry about being able to slide around on the Magic Creeper. And Chad said he's a first-time user, and the Magic Creeper is amazing. Effortless movement under the vehicle, and it works just as they say. Do not take our word for it. Like I said, get yourself a Magic Creeper. Check it out at magiccreeper.com. Buy one for yourself. You're also going to want one as a gift or two, so check them out. That is going to do it for this edition of Motorhead Garage. We thank you for tuning in. If you, by the way, have created a product that you want to see on Motorhead Garage, email Jeff at masterstv.com, and you can be right here in our studio. We hope you join us when we do it once again next week, and from our entire crew here, we'll see you next time on Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. So long.